Mic check, telephone, my live very soon, very soon, very soon. All right, let me get the show ready. Yeah. Open the PDF, my friend. All right. There you go. View. Anything else to say? View. Read, there we go. All right. Well. Welcome everyone to the Black Band Broadcast. I'm your host, Brother Raven. Let's see if I can show you the PDF that we always have when the show starts. Give me 17 seconds to find it. I think there it is. Yeah, something. All right, don't forget to tell a friend we're live. This is the show set up for the people. That's right. This is the Black Community Show, also known as Black Band Broadcast. This is your show. Big up everyone. Big up IC3C, IC3 in the house. Big up everyone else. All right. So, yep, there we can see it. Excellent. So let's start the show as we normally start. Don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram page. There it is. It's it's there. Black Betterment Building. I'll post it in the link as well, just so you can see it. Feel free to click on that and then click in. Oh yeah. Retroactive expectation. So, aka ancestral obligation. So, what are they? What is the retroactive expectations? Well, they are constructive activities that the Black community are desired to uphold to collectively recover from atrocities from the past. That's right. So we always ask people to remember the atrocities inflicted upon the ancestors and the community in the past and present, and behave in ways that reflect this. Reconnect with Black people locally and globally, and form networks to teach each other about the different cultures. Repair the Black community of historical trauma that causes self-hate, challenges, and health issues. And rebuild the Black family, Black economics, and Black nations. And our topic really will cover Black economics today. Very important. Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir, it is. So in order to make that process easier, we promote a lifestyle called Black Betterment. That's right, which is a lifestyle of Black people continuously helping Black people. That's right. And I should be promoting this at the end of this month. Be invited to a show where we're talking about the challenges between Black men and Black women. And I also would like to include, I guess, today's topic, and that's the boycott thing. We'll get there in a bit. Well, I'm playing a bit. But yeah, so what else we got? So the links there, and people can always jump in and give us their opinions if they like. You just click in and jump in. And you can always have a discussion, tell us what you want to talk about, or just give your opinions on what we're discussing in real time. But don't forget to practice the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. That's right. Oh, yeah. Try to use derogatory language if possible. Try to use descriptive language. We've got some examples there. You can always pause it and see. But try to use more descriptive language rather than derogatory language, because it just makes helping Black people slightly harder. All right, so the two topics today are Black Betterment Boycott Bandwagon. We discussed why using the Asian boycott discussion as a way to motivate Black economics as a beneficial idea. Well, we discussed why using the Asian boycott discussion as a way to motivate Black economics is a beneficial idea. Yeah, it sounded weird when I said it. Most things I read sound terrible to me. UK and US white supremacy unity. White supremacist unity, sorry. We studied why the UK and the US white supremacist groups are uniting. Yeah. So I saw something on, I think, BBC or ITV wanted to download it. Yeah, so what should we start? What we'll do is normally we start, is there any videos that economic help? Yeah, we'll listen to two economic stuff. What's this one? Oh, that's cool one. Yeah. 1, 2. All right, we'll start with one Nearly Fuller Jr. video, which kind of connects to what we're saying, so it's cool. And then we'll start the show itself. Let's see. This is he's talking about African Americans but it still applies black worldwide. Where are we? Videos 2000 and that's right. We're in the 2070 episode. That's 2070 episodes. Welcome to the community. Oh yeah, this is no, it's not this one. I got the wrong one. Sorry. So that's sorry, I got the wrong one. So what's this? 00. Economic help, I think. Is this one?
16.
Yeah, so I've played before, so it's good to have Claude Anderson.
1866, blacks were slaves, they didn't belong to any party, and they got slavery out of it. From 1866 to 1936, about 96% of all the blacks in the United States belonged to the Republican Party. What they got was Jim Crowism out of it. From 1936 up to 1996, almost 97% of all the blacks in the United States belong to the Democratic Party. What they've gotten is benign neglect. So partisanship is not the issue. The issue is that black folk have never had an effective strategy for dealing with white racism in this country. That's the issue. You can win as a minority population if you learn and find out how it's been done in the past. Jews are a minority religious group, but they do win. The National Rifle Association is a minority social civic group, but they do win. The wealthy elite in this country is a minority group, but they do win. When will we sit down and strategize? How do we win as a minority?
It's very important. That branding word, but strategize. We should include that word like strategize. Like we should have meetings where the meetings are just to strategize about collective betterment, and we're gonna have a word for that branding for that. You know, we've got one word called Malengo, which means goals. Maybe we could use that. I don't know. But it should mean like where people come together. I think just always having these discussions where that is the goal, that'd be very good. A big up Claude Anderson there. He's always highlighting this is back in the past, but he's still dropping good stuff today. But yeah, I'll remove that for a bit. So now we're doing that. Let's we'll start off the white supremacy one. So it's about a 10-minute, 16-minute video just to get everyone warmed up. Tell your friends to come in live. It's just, you know, a recap of the UK and the US white supremacy getting together. They always are usually, but this is just, you know, it's been documented. This is one. So I don't know if it was the best one. There was one where he's actually interviewing them, but this one's more them interviewing the man who did the interview. So let's just see while people get ready to come
in. Countries. That's coming back to the UK with this connection.
Our governments have long enjoyed a so-called special relationship, but now white supremacists in the UK and the United States are forging ever deeper ties. ITV News has uncovered a network of far-right groups spanning both sides of the Atlantic.
The white nationalism 3.0.
One thing to think about is people who hate black people, or just general non-white people, but say black people for now, they always find good ways to unite. That should be very helpful to black people who struggle to unite with other black people to recover from the effects of non-black people mistreating black people. So just you can learn a lesson that, you know, the hatred for black people is more stronger than recovering from the atrocities faced by black people.
Style, because it's very appealing.
Are you a neo-Nazi?
I wouldn't use that label. I'd say I'm a nationalist.
So that guy, I think that the documentary or the show that was before is this guy. He worked for the Queen, he worked in the palace or something like that, and they found out or something.
How are they working together?
They're not getting on planes just to like have a chat. I mean, frankly, they could do that on a Zoom call, right? There's a reason that they're spending significant amounts.
Question: black economics can only thrive when the psychology changes first. Because real black business begins with, yeah, very true. That's why we say we promote black betterment. So this entire show promotes a concept known as black betterment, and the idea is to teach your children, teach your friends this concept of black firstism, black betterment. Always try, you know, black economics, black health, black families. If that is drilled into the community's head, then economics makes sense. But if not, it will not make sense.
Of time together.
And what do they want?
An international white community that, at this point in their fantasies, would retake large parts of Western Europe, other countries, to be an all-white community.
I'm Geraint Vincent, and this is what you need to know. Joining me this time is our global security editor, Rohit Katru, who has led this investigation. Rohit, tell us first, who are the groups in the network that you've uncovered?
Well, I mean, look, there's a bunch of groups in this extreme right-wing space, but the ones that we've been looking at are firstly a group called Active Club England, which we first reported on in February, we exposed some of what they were doing in the UK, which was essentially to draw people in for what essentially looked like fitness clubs from the outside, and they were having these fortnightly sessions in a park in Vauxhall in South London, just a few yards from the headquarters of MI6, in fact. But actually what the training was for, and this became evident in some of our secret filming and behind closed doors, this was training for a race war which they perceived to be fairly imminent. What we're talking about in our new reporting as well, which has been out this week, is a network called Vanguard Britannica, which has similar motives and similar aims. But I guess what's new, because people watching and listening might be thinking, well, you know, that for decades we've had, National Front in the 70s and 80s and other similar groups. But I think what's different here is that these are networks that are beginning to work together more closely, and to cross borders and to cross an ocean as well. And here's a crucial bit: the work that's happening with their equivalents in the US. Now, those equivalents are a bit less secretive out there, and so when we put them all together, we get a clearer sense of where their British counterparts see themselves. And this, frankly, is like the top table of organized white supremacy in the US. What we have been able to reveal is that this British network has, in the last few weeks, gone over to Texas to meet with figures like Thomas Russo and Rob Rundo, who aren't household names over here, but they certainly are to senior counter-extremism officers in the FBI. These are some of the most senior figures driving.
Let's join in. We're looking at UK-US white supremacy unity. Just looking at the network stats going on, day to day of the UK joining up with the US, and just highlighting the ideology and how it might impact, if at all.
Propaganda and organized.
After this, we're going to move on to the boycott, which is the Asian boycott, which is very important. I've got a lot of videos on that one, but we're just watching these for now. Well, everyone gets in, and then we'll jump onto that. Tell a friend, we're live.
In that space in the US, which is, in America is more commonly called white nationalist. And what we know is that these meetings that happened were in part about trying to learn from each other and trying to bring some of their experience and their tools over here to the UK.
Just pin down for us, what exactly are their shared beliefs and intentions?
Yeah. The aims of these groups kind of coalesce around a single narrative, which has always been called the Great Replacement Theory for decades and decades, but is now taking on this new life. This is the notion that there is a sort of organized elite around the world which is trying to, in a sense, extinguish white populations in Europe and the US. And
this is the banner you see at the protest, "You will not replace us."
Exactly. And I think what is fueling their success in parts, and I say success because they're all growing at fairly rapid rates, is in part the nature of our own political debates and the debate around migration. I think people might see in this group and have a kind of caricature in their minds of, a thug in a pub. That's not quite what we're seeing.
It's a caricature.
Here. Yeah, absolutely. And here we're seeing people who study history, who have who in some cases are well read. Yeah, those sort of street agitators are still there on the side. But they are trying to kind of piece together an almost like an intellectual argument for their very base beliefs in white supremacy. And you see that in some of the cases that we've been reporting on this week.
So more contact, a more kind of uniform ideology. Mm-hmm. What's their plan? What are they hoping to achieve? What are they going to do?
Yeah, well, I mean, and this is where they are perhaps a little smarter than their predecessors, right? Because in the UK, there is very clearly understanding in some of these groups about where the line of the law lies, and so there are some things that are said explicitly, and some things that are kind of said with half truths or through double speak as well. But primarily these groups believe that a sort of what they call a race war is kind of inevitable, and then there are sections who believe that race war should almost be encouraged because that point is inevitable. So you know, the preparation is kind of the excuse. I think what they're less clear about is whether they are prepared to actually try and instigate that. And the reason is
We're joined by IC3. Welcome. Have you put is that a trailer you've put in there? Is that like a PDF you put in the?
Yeah, I'll refer to that later if you're interested. But have you heard the news? Because this is you're right on it. You're right on it. Because this is the big subject right now about this white. Because you've put as a title the unification of the US and the UK white supremacy, and UK US white supremacist unity. But but did you know that, I mean, this is the biggest news in the world. It's bigger than an atom bomb. It's like a multiple atom bomb. I like to do this intro so people think I'm exaggerating, and then they're going to realize I'm not exaggerating. Did you know that the United States of America, on the 29th of March, 2024, changed its identity?
I didn't.
So, America was seen as white until 1965, when they started bringing in the civil rights and so on. Yeah. Okay. And in 1965, from then on, North Africa and the Middle East were accepted, were white, were defined as white spaces.
Yes.
Okay, North Africa and the Middle East. But on the 29th of March, 2024, I'm a bit late. The US has kicked out North Africa and the Middle East from white identity.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. There's nothing bigger than a nation changing its identity, because all policies and everything follows from down to it. So let me I'm gonna give you the link. The reason I put that link to my website is because I'll put it up on the website as well. So I'm going to show you, and you'll know what to do with this. So you'll know the implications of this. So look at this. So if you go to my website, you don't have to know.
Is this what you've got at the moment on the screen?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm showing on screen now. Yeah, but you see that treat white supremacy PDF. So if you click that, see that's the graphic I've designed. U.S. immigration. And then I've got white man, and then MENA. MENA is the official terminology for ME stands for Middle East, and NA stands for North Africa. So MENA is now the definition for those areas that were formerly white, but they're not any longer. So they're the MENA, and so it's a racial purge, official U.S. census as of the 29th of March 2024. So let me give you the link, and you can expand on it and do whatever you want with this. Yeah. I just had to get the information out there. 1 second.
I'll put the wiki link of the definition there as well. MENA, okay.
Yeah, so that's MENA. And I think and this is amazing. So I was on another stream, being all excited about this news because nobody's heard. And then this white guy, he's a federal agent, professional. He works and he won't tell us what department, but he's open. He won't tell us what department of the U.S. government he works for. but he's a regular on black channels and African channels. Right. So yeah, you might have heard of him, Josh, or you'll see him anyway. But he's a genuine Fed. When he says Fed, a lot of people think he's joking, but he's not. He's the real thing. Okay. So now when I announced this to everybody, then I asked him, "Did you know?" And he says, "Yes." And I said, "What?" So he knew all about this. And not only that, he says that it's being rolled out, and that they hope to complete it in 8 years. So he's even got a time frame.
Wow!
So he must be high level in the government. He says, "Yeah, I know about it." So it's been going on from last year. He hasn't told the black community about it, but yet it's coming to the black channels.
So yeah, so those know historically, the Middle East and North Africa have been certain pockets that have labeled them as white and stuff, but it looks like they're losing that status. Historically, certain parts of Europe wasn't seen as white, and then they were, and then it expanded into certain parts of the Middle East and North Africa. Well, it looks like maybe for current reasons, they're losing that status.
It's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone. Yeah, and what's interesting is that the UK has never accepted MENA as white. Never.
No, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that on your document.
It's in the code. Yeah. It's never. So now America is going back to its pre-1965 attitudes. White Christian, Ku Klux Klan, hardcore white, Protestant WASP. All this civil rights out the window.
Boy.
Not directly, but because what they'll say, oh no, all it is that when you read the I haven't read it all. I just skimmed through it. But somebody was I was on another channel and they were reading some, and they're saying, oh no, it's just North Africa, the map, yeah, the area on the map, and Middle East,
right,
the area on the map. But if I say North Africa, you're thinking about Arabs, you're thinking about Muslims. You understand? Just by talking about the map, without actually saying it. If I talk about Middle East, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Abrahamic faiths, the religion, the Jews, and all that, without saying it.
Boy, well there you go. Well, thank you, brother IC3. They're keeping up to date with cutting edge stuff there. We were looking at UK-US white supremacist unity. Brothers highlighted that certain groups are losing white status.
Yes, that's right. It's codified as well.
There you go, very codified. Yeah, there you go. All right, we're gonna now. We'll probably come back to the video later if we get time, but we're gonna now move on to the boycott. For those who are joining in the UK at the moment, there's an issue around just a small grassroots thing around a sister. Elaine the Pain, I think her name is, where she's trying to push forward a boycott of Asian shops. Some people disagree, some people agree. They're trying to unpack where they're at the moment, and also if black Betterment can utilize these discussions to help teach about the importance of economics and supporting black businesses. So let's see if we can find some videos and jump in on that. Hold on, load. Big up brother Dominic in the house. Big up Jeff as well, brother Jeff. Big up all from Mississippi as well. How do you get this thing open again? It's there we go. Let me see. How should I start this? I've got some videos here. Give me 4 seconds. All right, so let me start with this Asian man. So this was, I think this was the video I wanted to show last week. I think he's like a quite popular sort of butcher in the Asian community in Birmingham or something, and I think he's had a back and forth with Elaine the Pain. But I think he's trying to tell the Asian community, don't be racist, because obviously normally what happens when there's an argument, lots of communities get racist towards black people, bigoted. So he's trying to make them say it's not a good look. That's what he's trying to do.
The Pain situation. To the Asian community, it's okay to disagree with Elaine the Pain without being racist or offensive. Yes, she's saying some wild stuff to the South Asian community, but for us to perpetuate stereotypes and use racist language is not acceptable. And it's not the kind of support we want here at Manic Butchers. As British Asians and British Muslims, we hate being stereotyped and hate being called names. So why do we think it's acceptable to do it to another minority? The black community who supported their Asian counterparts, thank you. And to those that are kind of on the fence or leaning toward Name the Pain, hopefully you can now see what she's about. When I posted my first reel explaining about my granddad's origins in Kenya, she couldn't wait to start typing and say her piece about the history. I've given her a realistic idea and business plan as to how to make a black economy flourish. Soon as I offered a solution, deafening silence. She's not interested in any solutions. She just wants to create clickbait videos so she can monetize her social media platform. It's either that or she's getting paid to be divisive by the usual suspects. That being said, this is the last video that I'm going to make on the matter because I don't want to perpetuate this division any further. I'm going to get back to selling some meat. Use code BUYASIAN10 for some top quality halal produce.
That's interesting. And then he made this afterwards. I think it's some kind of, where is it? Here we go, this one.
I need to buy some meat. I'm told I can't buy from Asian shops anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's a real shame. Well, look, why don't you have this halal breakfast bap on me for old time's sake?
MashaAllah, Aki. That's delicious.
MashaAllah indeed. And that's the beauty of Islam. We don't judge based on colour or race. We're all brothers and sisters in this together.
Yeah, you're right. I'll never stop shopping with you, boss man. I mean, boss manny.
Okay, yeah, I don't know this gentleman, and you know, the thing of these kind of videos and this kind of stuff, I don't think it really addresses what the bigger discussion is, and also having like token black people saying, you know, we'll never, you know, leave you and this kind of stuff. I don't know if that's a good setup, a good look. It isn't at all, really. There are definitely, I think regardless of the motivation behind the videos, there is an important discussion to have. One, about black economics, and two, about how the greater South Asian community do treat the black community, and what we, you know, and that is a very important topic. Let's look at some other videos, and the brother Dominic and I think someone asked as well. There's two questions. Was black economics can only thrive when the psychology changes first, right? Yeah, the psychology changes first because real black businesses begins with the mental liberation. Very true. There it is. And then obviously, brother Dominic says so. So she wants us to boycott Asian businesses. Then what? And I think she's actually got. So she's actually trying to follow up with a bit of more structure. Let's see.
This is a 1680.
Trying to find that. Let's look at. I'm trying to find some of the stuff that might be here.
So.
No, not that one. I will come to that one in a bit.
Hey, black people.
I will come to that one in a bit. Well, let's go to, like, I guess this first, as in how the Asian community have been.
I hope you're doing good. I have some really bad news to tell you. You know, if the racism and the death threats and calling for me to be raped weren't enough, they have now mass reported my account for me to be permanently banned from TikTok. Now, is this a surprise? No, because when a black woman speaks up for her community, this is the result. I'm just telling that community, you cannot silence this black woman's voice. There is no place where I can go, where I will be mute, where I will be muzzled, where I will be told to shut up. There will never be a place for that. I will always speak on behalf of my community, and I will speak on the injustice, the manipulation, the anti-blackness, the colorism and the racism that's come strictly from your community. You have absolutely shown us what your community thinks about black people, especially black women. So I'm calling on my community to help me out. This is what you can do. So the first thing you can do is tag every verified TikTok HQ account in your videos and ask for my account to be given back. The second thing you can do is tag verified TikTok HQ accounts in the comments and say that this was mass bullying and reporting. And the final thing you can do is email and raise reports in TikTok about my banned account saying that you want it reinstated. Black people, let me tell you this. This bullying should not go unanswered. This bullying should not be swept underneath the carpet. This muzzling should absolutely be called out by the Black community online and offline, on Instagram and on TikTok. I will not be silenced. Black people, let me tell you this. There is no community that I will not fight. There is no account or social media that can ever muzzle my voice in speaking about you. I will stop at absolutely nothing until our community is self-sufficient and until we build generational wealth. They can't stop this blood clot boycott. It's already in motion.
So I don't know.
Hey, Black.
I don't know too much of the history of the sister. Don't really know. I know people say that she has a history of shock jock, kind of like controversial posts. However, whether that's true or not, one thing, the word she is using is important, and like generational wealth and supporting Black, and that's something that we don't see too many people doing. But we definitely want to create a discussion around those topics and the promotion of those topics. So that's why it's important. Keeping that, you can actually, there's another lady who we've played here before, mixed Black lady who has Asian and Caribbean parents. And I think she said this.
All of these influences.
This is not, I hope I know it. I didn't have an idiot. Hold on, let me check. I probably didn't. Let me check. Hold on.
This is a Mac 16.
Hey.
Let me see. Did I download it?
Hey, Black people.
Oh, did you tell me I didn't download it? It's mad.
So, imagine it.
Well, what I'll do is let me play her response to it and see if I can find. I swear I downloaded it. I downloaded it.
Hearing all of these influencers beating off their gums about this Asian boycott and all of these sorts of things, but I really want to address one. Lin May, I'm going to need you to come out of Black people's business, you understand? You say that you're half Black, half Asian, but majority of your content is digging out the Black community. We do not need your advice, and you come with zero solutions. You chastise and belittle our community like it's the shit at the bottom of your shoe. You can never be part of our community because you clearly don't understand our history. Black people have gone without. We will be A-OK. I'm trying to show my community the spending power that they have. I'm trying to show my community that they can absolutely be self-sufficient. But all we hear from you is negativity. That's what you come to us with. Negative energy. My girl, you need to understand that once Black people have a movement and they believe in a cause, we will travel to Timbuktu to make sure that we're spending our money with Black-owned businesses. So since you're half Asian and half Black, why not address the disgusting racism that's come from that community? Address that. Address the undercutting when Black businesses want to open hair shops opposite another Asian hair shop. Address the undercutting. Address us being followed around the shop when we spend hundreds of pounds with your so-called Asian community. And Lin May, if you want to see the disgusting racism, it's in my highlights. Have a gander. Until then, do not speak on my community unless you are called to speak on it. And I know damn sure no one didn't ask you for your opinion.
All right, I'm downloading. I think I'm downloading now. So like I said, I don't know what history these two have together or not. But we studied Lin May before. And we did look at that, the kind of how that sister was always on Black shows, but she seems to never really support Black things directly, never really talk negatively towards the Asian community. And she seems to have a bias, and that was a discussion where you have people of dual parenting, and through osmosis or learned behavior, the Black side of a family group seems to be treated the worst and has the worst opinions and stuff. But let me just try to there we go, downloads. Where is it? Downloads. to know him. Here we go. Download. Ta-da. Is it here? Yeah, I think it's here. Let me put it in. All right, I can't open it. So let's see what she had to say. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe she said some good stuff, and we can learn from it. We'll see. All right, load videos. Let's see what the sister was reacting to. I'm thinking it was this one. I hope so.
Discussion on this topic, but I just want to have like a frank, respectful conversation about what will work, what won't work, and suggestions with regards to boycotting Asian business.
Hold on. So I put it in there, but you have to remove one before you can add one. That's a bit weird. You just start playing. Hold on. Oh, it's there. It is.
Right? I'm not saying speak for everyone.
I don't know if you heard all that.
I see there's been lots of discussion on this topic, but I just want to have like a frank, respectful conversation about what will work, what won't work, and suggestions with regards to boycotting Asian businesses. As I'm Asian and Black, and I see firsthand.
And this is something we have to observe, like how Asian community treat people of Black and Asian heritage. And is there any kind of environment this lady is in that is Asian, where her she has an opinion or she has any kind of power or say so? Because that will, also reflect, if you're not included in those stuff, why you speak a certain kind of way, and why do you disparage, allegedly disparage Black progressional ideas and stuff. But let's listen.
And from both sides, right? I'm not saying I speak for everyone or anyone. I'm just saying my experience. Now, the reason why boycotting Asian shops or businesses will not work is because.
So what she's doing now is she seems to be. Now I'm not saying yay to boycott or not to boycott, but she's already. This could be viewed as a defense of Asian businesses, where you're telling Black people not to do something, right? But it seems to be presented in a way where it's not a good idea.
Because you cannot expect people from the Black community to travel further and spend more money because those items in Black businesses will be more expensive because they cannot.
Now that is a very interesting thing, where what the sister's saying is you can't boycott Asian business because you have to travel further and spend more for Black business. But that's literally what it requires for you to support Black business. You have to travel a bit further and you have to spend a bit more, But it's interesting that that's the area she wants to tackle on. Which makes me think that maybe she's not really that synchronized with Black businesses or Black people in general, at least within this topic. Or she's more concerned about Asian community losing money because, like I said, Black people are a big percentage in the Asian community's businesses. Sometimes 100%, to be honest. Like 100%, completely 100%.
Or don't have the logistical capabilities or the supply chains that Asian businesses have.
Well, the reason they don't is because of that there's been a bottleneck or a freezing of that network, right? And I think that's the idea of why. See, now, if someone was to start a boycott because of that, then I could say, okay, that is a very interesting and important reason to boycott something, right? Because you're monopolizing people from getting into a market and the people you're blocking are the people you're selling to. So it seems like there's no real connection between the two groups, whatever. At least from that standpoint. But the sister here, I don't think she's really that sincere in her connection with the Black community. But I could be wrong. She might jump on and say that's not true. But right now, the path she's going, I don't necessarily. I can see some logic in it, but I don't see how I won't approach it from that way.
It's as simple as that. That's not to say it can't happen, but right now they don't have it. Okay. Secondly, instead of talking about boycotting or having a negative energy towards that demographic, which I do understand, I'm not even invalidating the frustration of seeing that demographic get successful off of
that demographic. She's talking about her father's demographic.
Your buying power. But
Asians, okay, great.
Instead of shutting them down or boycotting them or any form of negativity, why not get a bit closer? Why not have a look at their business model? Why not see who are your supply chains? How are your logistics so good? And it's not just the Asian community. It's the Kurdish and the Turkish and the Afghani and all these communities who definitely have had their struggles. Remember,
and I see this a lot in some people who have like one parent from one community and one parent from another community. She has a very respectful tongue for her Asian side of her family, but a very kind of patronizing tongue towards her Black side, the Caribbean side. That's interesting. When I was debating, I kind of got that sense with some sister who was part African, part European, from a parent standpoint. It's very interesting that.
Afghanistan has just had a 20-year war with many of the people in this country have watched their families and friends being bombed to death, and they've still come here and made a success of themselves.
And this is that kind of paradox where what the sister Elaine was saying and others is we're trying to be successful by doing these things. So these are the choices. So it's like a paradox. So it's like, yeah, what we're doing is to be successful. So now you go, but they managed to be successful and they've come from war. Of course, now we're going to do the same kind of process, right?
And that's not to deflect from the struggles of the black community. I completely understand and get it. But if they can do it, so can any other community.
But that's what the sister's doing, isn't it?
Now, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do the grind and have the delayed gratification? And
seems now that she's now, almost kind of like demonizing the process and making it unappealing.
See possibly no profit for years and years like those communities. Are you willing?
Why is this a conversation? Like, first of all, there are actually black businesses that we can support, right? So they are doing that grind. And she's mentioned it in Traveling Further to them.
To do that, because a lot of my friends from the black community aren't.
Well, I don't know who your friends are. But what I'm saying is, have you noticed the picture that she's painting for black people and the picture she's painting for non-black people? It's very interesting.
And they're not willing to have that same level of family commitment, unity and loyalty, where your parents will tell you, listen, work with the family business. You may not get paid for a few years. You may have to stand on your feet for hours. You may have to not do the sexy jobs in the warehouse. Is the black community willing to do the same grind as boss man? Ask yourself that. Okay, it's not as easy as what people think. Boohoo and ego, pretty little thing. It's been a long journey. We see the sexiness that they've got now, but they started off as tiny market stalls. Are you willing to do what they do?
Very patronizing kind of video. I don't know, but and rightly so. I think the sister's kind of like kicked herself out of many black spaces with her behavioral patterns. I think. So I don't know if anyone's really taking this seriously, but maybe that's like the clickbait culture. And I think the people who have mixed heritage, be careful you don't kind of put yourself in like no man's land, no woman's land, because like I said, your other community will not come and bail you out. They just won't. It's just, we just understand how it works. And then what was there was one other, what was that guy? Hold on.
1618.
Just gonna find something. Yeah. So this guy is talking about the history and stuff. Interesting guys.
They tolerate us, and that's why you've got to take the B out of game, because what we go through is not the same. The struggles we encounter are not homogenous. I remember the first time I opened my restaurant in London, in Dulwich. It was about 7 p.m. in the evening and we were fully booked. A lady came to the window and asked me a question. She said, "Hey, when are you guys open to the public?" I guess she looked inside the window and it was a bit too dark for her. When it comes to business, we're relatively new in England and we don't understand that. The first restaurant, the South Asian one, was opened in 1810 and it was called the Hindustan Coffee House. The first black restaurant that was opened in England was in 1968 and I believe it was called Mangrove. If you look at the disparity in the time, you'll understand where I'm going with this. In 2011, Nick Clegg made it very clear that black businesses were being marginalized and discriminated in the banks when it came to be given loans. And this has been a common theme. Even when it comes to getting commercial premises, I've always faced this struggle. Because when I've sent my South Asian mates to go and view the same place, what they've come back with has been different information to what I've been given. And I say that to say this. Should we boycott South Asian businesses? First, I'm going to state this. I commend the South Asian community for their business savviness and their hard work. Because what they've done in the short space of time that they've been here is commendable. What needs to be done is this. Representation is key. So many people have opened restaurants and bars off the back of seeing me doing it. And you can only be what you see. And that's why I state that all of us in business have to be a true representation of what it is. Degeneracy is often pushed to the forefront in our community, which is a big problem. Because a lot of people don't actually mix with us. They see us in the TV and that's what they see. If you go to Southall and Ealing, you'll see that the South Asian community, they do Sinbad the Sailor. They're doing this too. It's just that it's not pushed to the forefront. You go to Birmingham, they're on smoke as well. But it's a shame that it's that what we push to the forefront. When you look at the hair shops that we patronize, they have a monopoly on it. Even when black people have opened these shops, I've seen us complain saying that why are we selling the products so high? There's something called buying power. And when you've got so many of these shops together, you can petition the wholesalers and get these products for a lot cheaper. Even when it comes to commercial premises, the rates that they're going to give people in the community is going to be different to us. I've got a few commercial spaces that I've rented out to black people, and I've given it to them at such a cheap rate because I can afford to do that. Representation is key, and I repeat, they don't rate us, they tolerate us. I've been in this business for years, and no matter how much money you make and how much you progress, you'll realize that you one day will get your ninja wake-up call. You will. We need to band together and stop making ourselves look like a charity case, asking for handouts and givebacks. It is business. And we have to learn one very important thing. We only have ourselves in this game. Have a fantastic day.
So yeah, I think having this as a discussion is important, like this kind of meeting concept to talk about economic growth and progression and consistency. I think that's important. And when the next I've got some debate on the 30th or something like that. I'm going to try to bring that up as a thing where, and we'll give thanks to the people who started and Elaine the Pain. Any kind of like rewarding content people, even though they might not have a history of doing this kind of stuff, because they use their algorithms to get attention towards important things. So we have to give thanks to them, regardless of what motivated it and so forth. Speaking of what motivated, the brother Shaka, he did 2 videos. Good to listen to what he said. We agree with what he was saying last week, as I've heard it. Where is it? Shaka 1. Shaka 1, there we go. Let's listen. You got the brother?
About boycotting Asian-owned hair shops recently, and I actually do have some perspectives on the statements of the young man who actually sparked this whole debate, but I'll come back to those another time. The question is, should we be boycotting Asian-owned hair shops? The reality is that the situation we're in, the hair industry that predominantly and primarily caters,
I think it's Asian shops in general. I think
for the cultural needs of the African Caribbean community being dominated by anybody other than ourselves is and always has been a ridiculous situation. It would be the equivalent of black people running the sari industry, for example, in this country, or the Asian fashion industry more general. And I doubt anybody could imagine a situation like that occurring. In fact, I think we are the only community in which it can be said that the industries that cater for our cultural needs are often dominated by other people. African textiles may be another example of that phenomenon. But the reality is that if we are trying to solve that particular problem, a boycott is not the way to solve that particular problem. I should say is not going to solve that particular problem in and of itself. The only way to solve that problem is to engender a sensibility among us as African people that we should be dominating the industries that cater specifically for our cultural needs. And then going about the business of developing the social relationships and networks that allow us to fulfill that particular principle. And then developing the industries and institutions that we need out of those networks and social relationships to fulfill that particular principle. That is the only way that we are going to solve that problem. A boycott in and of itself cannot do that. We have to be not just talking about who we should be boycotting, but what we are going to produce and how. And if we are not having that conversation, then I humbly suggest we are not addressing the actual issue. That's my statement for now. Free Congo, free Haiti, free Sudan. A war.
Brother Shaka, this is part 1. There's another one he did. That was a very good point there, where it's like, boycotting, if you're going to do it, as a good part, especially if there's motivation behind it. But also, 2 things: what you're replacing it with, and also what institution you're creating. And I think what he said there is the key, where it's like having that discussion, once again, the meeting concept of where you're establishing like what do we fundamentally need and how we're going to get that achieved, right? And that's key. I'm gonna play. I think I've got it. The sister gave links to like a black business directory and stuff, which we should unpack as well. Where is it? Shaka 2. This is the second part. You saying?
Of my knowledge, this whole conversation about the Asian hair shops was sparked by a viral statement of the sister Elaine DePayne, and she was responding to the backlash that a brother received from the Asian community about statements that he made about the Asian community. And because that backlash was laced with a whole heap of anti-blackness and racism, the sister Elaine DePayne on Your Aunties Could Never podcast responded in defense of the brethren. Now, somebody can fill in any gaps if I'm missing out anything, but to the best of my knowledge, I saw it they've got. Now, what I'm about to say is really my initial response to having seen that video, which I saw before Elaine's statement. And I'm saying all of that to say, what I'm about to say is not necessarily a response to Elaine, but it's more my perspective on what the brethren did there. Although I suspect my perspective might be slightly different to the sister Elaine's, but I'm not really responding to her. I hope all that makes sense. But we hear what the brethren did say.
I feel like it takes the piss when they come into the country and then they build their own community and they think that they have their, let's say for instance, Ilford Lane. That's one place I could really think of, I'll be honest. They've taken over to the point where the British don't even want to live there no more. They move out to Dagenham, they move out to Essex, but they want to get the fuck away from it. They're buying everyone out. They're trying to make their own shops, flushing money through the shops, washing money, dirty money, everything. And they keep things behind closed doors when it comes to all sorts of stuff. Let's face it, you know, that's how it be within their community, you know what I'm saying? English don't want that no more.
So it seems clear to me that the brethren was not defending any black issue, black perspective, or black interest.
That's key. We mentioned it last week, and that's important that, you know, the domino effect, we cannot jump into support. We have to make sure that it's coming from a controlled place and makes sense for people to jump on board with.
That he was actually parroting a white British narrative in defense of the perspective of white Britons. And I find this to be very dangerous because it seems to me that there is an attempt in this country to turn the black community, particularly the black Caribbean community,
big up Maryland Goddess, didn't see you there, big up,
into this kind of model immigrant that comes to the country and is loyal to Queen and King and country and weaponize us against other immigrant communities in defense of white Britain, forgetting the fact that this country, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, is a colonizer and neo-colonizer in relation to us and our back home nations, and also forgetting the fact that a significant amount of the immigrant issue in this country is directly connected to British warmongering and militarism and Western militarism more generally around the world. And so when we make ourselves the mouthpieces of white British interest, we do a disservice to ourselves, our elders, and our ancestors. And so whilst I would not condone any racism or anti-blackness projected at this brother, it's quite clear to me that the brethren requires a heavy dose of black political education. And that is how I think we should treat his comments. Free Congo, free Haiti, free Sudan. A war.
We got the brother there. Yeah, we agree with that. We mentioned it before. You know, I think the brother must be around certain circles. I don't know who his friends are, but he's picked up a narrative that isn't really a black narrative. It seems to be like a white supremacist or another narrative, whatever. And this concept of being the model minorities, and you know, I think I even, let me see if I got some video of something. Hold on, let me check. Let's see if I can find all of them. I don't think I got it. Oh yeah, I have it. This is, excuse the language. This is a video of so this is kids back in what, I don't know what it is, 60s, 70s, 80s. I don't know. Can't tell by the quality of the video, but this has been going for time, and this is them talking about mistreating Asian people.
But who is it that you fight with so much? Who's your natural enemy?
Well,
Pakis, Greece.
Yeah.
Pakis ain't so much your enemy, they're just like a pastime, aren't they? Pakis? Yeah. What do you mean by Pakis? Pakistanis. You don't like Pakistanis?
No. It's not their colour, because we like, you know, the Jamaicans are alright. We mix with the Jamaicans, yeah.
See, they're trying to be the model minority, you know, not a good look.
We go about with a lot of Jamaicans. Yeah. You like Jamaicans, but you don't like Pakistanis? They're all white. I know, we mix in with a load of Jamaicans, got a lot of Jamaican mates. I mean, they don't like Pakistanis either.
From what I heard back, I don't know where that comes from. What I heard back is there was a lot of Asian bashing back in the day, and there was a big black community, Caribbean community, who would protect a lot of Asians. This was a thing, so I don't know, but this is what they're documenting there.
Well, what do you do about it when you dislike the Pakistanis?
But you know what? You call it rolling packies, packy bashing. Roll a packy, when you nick his money in it.
So yeah, this was very normal behavior back then. Once again, a lot of these Europeans, whether they these white people, the reason why there's two reasons why they don't get me wrong, Caribbean people are persecuted as well in different ways. But one reason when it comes to fighting, it wasn't like one because a lot of Caribbean guys beat the crap out of them. That's what happened. And two, you got your kind of like I don't know, more Frank Bruno kind of delivery kind of person where they felt comfortable around, I guess. That's the only example I can give, right? But big up Frank Bruno, very, very powerful boxer. So yeah, and also you found a lot of black people, more so black men, who were willing to, I guess, integrate with certain ideas or whatever. And you see that today. You see certain far right companies, whatever, that might have one token black person and they use them. You see, we're not racist. We've got him. That kind of stuff. So yeah, let's carry on. Listen, that works. Let's see what videos we got on. Let's see, shall we?
Hey, black people.
No, not that one.
It's so. Who remembers?
Oh yeah, this was something that happened. It's an interesting one as well. Look at this.
Shop. Well, guess what? After the video went viral,
so what happened is there was a Caribbean uncle who went there he was told to go there, buy the shop to help. To leave a barrel in the shop. This is an Asian shop that primarily only serves Africans and Caribbeans. And he said, can he bring a barrel to the shop? And the African and Caribbean people who are shopping there can leave things in the barrel to send to Jamaica because of the hurricane.
Of him rudely shunning a well-known community figure, Black Dread. He's #1 consumers, Caribbeans and Africans. Stop going to his shop. But I'm going to let Black Dread tell you what really happened.
Okay, beer people in him shop going for him since morning. Yeah, I'm going to wild him up and the man call me and I say, boy, Rasta, bring them back. Rasta.
Man, feel sorry him do a bad thing.
Yeah, because it gone viral. Yeah. It gone, because here we go on now. You see, true, we did so happy to go around there, because I got the choose and him say bring them, Yeah. And we so happy. That's where video all the way from we left around here, so we have video.
The whole walk
up the road and I go up there and thing and we say and we come and we stop and him say, oh Aziz, and me I say, yeah man Aziz, and him say, oh Aziz, and I say, yes Aziz, and take off the barrel. And the man say, yo, where you go with that? And I say, but me ask you. Yeah. And you say, me can't carry it come, so me carry it. Him say, no, me think it's a little box for money. Me say, we're not collecting money. Me say, when your customers come in, we just asking them to donate food in the barrel. Yeah. Him said, no, we can't take it, leave, come out. All the big man in the corner there said, come out, yeah. Me just come out, me shame, because you tell me to come. Yeah. So me feel all the way, so me just come out quick, because me never want to date. Me have had a shop for go to, and me think about Jamaica, me not think about me. Yeah. So if you want this me for Jamaica, me take me this.
You take it. Yeah, we talk.
Take me this for Jamaica. You understand? Because you're the wickedest part now. My son called me day night shopping and said, Daddy, I want to talk to you, so. Okay. I come around there now.
Come on, boy.
Yeah. Him say me I come around there now. Me say no man, everything alright, man. Everything under control. You understand?
He begged Black Dread to bring the barrel back. The barrel was for customers. It wasn't for them to donate. It was optional if they wanted to donate. He went there last week Tuesday and spoke to them and they agreed. Yes, there may have been a miscommunication, but he explained to them in the store, as you saw in the previous video. They were rude about it and he left. The video went viral and black people took back their coins and it hurt him in the pockets. All of a sudden now, he wants the barrel in his shop. It's too late. Everybody avoid Aziz.
If they're doing that, see, now that is a boycott. You see, that you see that he agrees to something, he doesn't fulfill, and he's disrespectful when he comes to deliver it, that you can see us works, and your primary only customer base are African and Caribbean, then yeah, that makes sense.
Then you had a few people in the comments saying, why didn't he go to any black shops? Well, he did.
See it, yeah? Barrel. Yes, let me carry the barrel are coming up, people. The barrel full already, look at. The people I love when you see, man, I want it so great. The barrel full already. You have to go for more barrel, Ibrahim. What you say?
Yeah, that's why we need it. We need the support so more people, please. To
yeah,
help.
Man, people come in, see that the barrel full already.
Thank you for your
support. 1 day,
thank you for
your
the
whole barrel. Watch out, people.
Thank you.
On a great team, man. I'm telling you, my brother, up there, straight.
So please, tomorrow I wanted to pick up this barrel. Yeah, we have another barrel coming tomorrow. Two more barrels coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we already have 5 already. We just want to go for 10.
Yeah.
Wow. 10. Yes. That's it. We can start now. Please, we need our support.
Nice.
Please,
nice.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna work towards that now.
Okay then.
Yes.
Bless it.
As you saw, the shop owner Ibrahim is on his 5th barrel, and he wants 5 more barrels. A total of 10. Look, national disasters don't happen every week, but when it does happen to your #1 consumer's country, we would like to think you would show some grace. So to wrap this up, big up all the shops that allowed the barrels to be held in their stores for customers to come in and support. You are appreciated, and you are the type of people we want in our communities. Thank you.
There's a brother there. Let's see if we got any. I think there was one video about directory. Let's see if that downloaded. Hold on. Let's see if I downloaded it. Hold on.
This is a message.
No,
16.
no.
So, hey, black people.
No.
So,
So,
no.
hey, my black
people. Before, should we do that? Hold on.
Hey, black people.
Oh yeah, that's the rules. We've got to do that one as well. What's this one? All right, cool. What we'll do is we'll look at some of the response to when she came out. That's the. And this is why, also black men as well. Like, we need to get more black men educated on how economics works. Listen.
Man,
I think what she's doing, she's highlighting people for you to stop following them.
did we all wake up and decided to sniff crack? The same boss man that lets you off even if you're 50p short. The same boss.
That's yeah. And there was apparently a few of these videos of black men jumping in to defend like the boycott concept of discussion. And she's showing you the pages of those men.
Boss man that allows you to buy that.
I'm boycotting all black businesses, and I said it with my blood clot chest.
Okay, this is an Asian guy. So there's Asian people. So obviously I'm not on TikTok, but
who's gonna do something, bro?
Yeah, this is what they do.
So we're boycotting Asian businesses. Asian businesses. You're telling me you're trying to boycott my local boss man?
So when you see these kind of men jump on and defend, even if it's comedy value, we want to get black men feeling more like this way towards black economics, black families, and black health, where when something goes against that, they jump and make videos to disparage whatever goes against it.
Where am I going to get my sweets from? Where am I going to get everything I need, bro? Literally 2 a.m.
I understand maybe these are comedians, I don't know. But once again, understanding, there's certain things we should probably not make joke about, and that is if we're trying to start something serious, or if we feel that something needs to be boycotted.
Bossman be there having conversations.
Elaine Payne has called for black British people to boycott Asian businesses.
Should we boycott Asian shops? Is that what we...
As to where the truth lied in what Elaine was saying and where the division and xenophobia lied, if that makes sense. So I wanted to come and give my perspective on what actually sits in the middle between Elaine Payne, who is just a grifter who's interested in clout, clicks, controversy, and the model minority myth.
Don't go wrong. We can always have a conversation about people who clicks are their, are their forte, whatever. But also the importance of the importance of black businesses should be front and foremost.
which believes that the reason as to why.
When you're saying boycott,
I am not boycotting Asian businesses. Is everything okay? Is everything? I have so many Asian friends, so many Asian people I consider family.
What you want to do is educate black people to have an intellectual discussion about supporting black businesses, and not that. But what you will notice is this kind of like defense mechanism. You don't see it in reverse. You don't see it in reverse, really.
Even my Asian nail techs, they're the best. Like,
have you ever wondered why most?
If you're boycotting South Asian shops, you're genuinely a donut. Do you understand the nature of business? Someone supplies you with something you need, and then you pay for it. That's it.
Yes, and the sister obviously was off killed, but there are a lot of these young black men. They're not really educated in economics, and they have a subservient kind of streak. They're very young as well, and that's why we kind of the generation above kind of failed. The pro-black generation of actually educating how business and community works, but we can try to rectify that if we can.
There's an exchange of value. That's how
the Asian and the black community need to be more united, because
officially be boycotting all black and South Asian businesses.
Asked them, I said, should we boycott these? It's not no. How's it? I need black people to help me.
A black individual, never. And let's face it, nothing is stopping us from doing that. The Asian community, they work together and they build. On top of that, they work as a community and support each.
Should black people boycott Asian shops? This video has been doing the rounds recently, so let me give you my thoughts. As
whether you're an other color, it doesn't matter. I love you. I'm waking up this morning and I'm finding out that they're trying to divide us.
I'm boycotting.
It's quite hard to watch some of these younger brothers. Obviously, they're probably comedians, I assume.
All Asian.
Or potential comedians, maybe. Up and coming, I think that's the word. Could be wrong. Maybe that's just
I can't partake in this boycotting Asian business movement. I can't. I will definitely make an effort to shop a newsagent and all of this this rising concern.
Yeah, man, let's boycott the Asian community. Let's cause more divide. Let's cause more violence and
violence, mate.
Disruption to our community.
I'm boycotting all Asian businesses. Their community is very, very anti-black.
What the heck did we do? Anyways, did y'all know that My Hero Academia's final season has 9?
I'm boycotting.
It takes the piss when they come into the country and then they build their own community. And
Yo, who you got more respect for though? Like,
there you go. All right, cool. So now you've seen that. We're just gonna play. I'm gonna play the rules of the boycott. Then the potential of what the sister's trying to do. I think. Where is that? And then we'll play some economics on it. Where's the rule? Yeah, I think it's this one. This is what she was. This is the last post I saw her do.
People, so I found a black directory. It is called.
We'll look at this. I'm looking for the rules one. Sorry, where's she had one where she wanted to do a boycott rule somewhere?
Hey,
there we go. So this is what the last thing she posted. Let me check.
People, here are the boycott rules. Like, share, and save this video.
Very important to understand now that when it comes to like, I don't know the history of some of the sisters and brothers or the motivation behind what does it. So people will say grifting or division or whatever. My whole thing is when black people say correct behavior, to jump on it and try to get the best out of it, and just to steer them in a way of doing it in a constructive manner rather than a destructive manner. So the word she's saying that's important is things like shop black and rules of doing that and support black businesses, and that's important.
Rule number 1. You are to go to a black-owned store. If you need seasonings, if you need meat, if you need yam, if you need plantain, if you need all the foods that our people sell, you go straight to a black-owned store. That also goes for their hair shops too. If you are trying to find edge control, if you are trying to find relaxer, if you are trying to find hair, you go to a black-owned store first. Rule number 2, if you are unsuccessful at finding anything physically in a black-owned store, you then go and look online. Right now, it's cost effective to have a business online. So if you need your creams, if you need your moisturizers, if you need your shampoos, if you are looking for a black-owned company, please, the next thing you need to do is search online. And if you cannot find anything in store or online, you can then fall back and go to a supermarket. Now, the reason why I say the supermarket is your last resort is because we need to fall back on some sort of system or infrastructure. We don't have the networks.
Does a Somali store count? Are you Somali, brothers? I suspect it does. Yes. If you're a Somali person who is anti yourself or anti black community, then you shouldn't be shopping there. But if you're someone who's synchronized and is constructive, then yeah.
To fall back on anybody, but
that's a big discussion as well. Getting everyone synchronized for a community, because there's purpose in it. You're purposely trying to. The thing with identity and stuff is a lot of people being anti-black is easy. Most people don't want to be connected to black, and if you can get away from it, you will, because of the negativity, i.e., what you're seeing now, right? So people will escape that. But then if you change being black as in being beneficial, and this is what it is, meaning if you're black, you now have people shopping at your store deliberately, then now people are going to want to be black. And all the people who might say they're not black, they hate black, or they can't be black, or this black, will focus more on black. And that's just an inevitable thing that will happen, because unfortunately, to be black in this world is to be hated, really. And that's why it takes what we define as the open door elite to try to do rebranding, propaganda, and marketing, and mind training to help black people be more synchronized in chasing betterment. You see,
a supermarket. This is for us to have support when we have nowhere else to go. If this boycott is to be effective, we need to have support from the supermarket. Now, I know some of you will be like,
now, okay, the thing is, this is where it's like, okay, supermarket, you know, I don't know, I think this is why I understand the click you're going to get by using the term boycott, and having something that's happened that makes you boycott is one thing. But once you start talking about supermarket now, then that means you're actively trying not to, I guess, shop in the Asian stores. And the supermarkets are all owned by, for the most part, European. Unless there's a black Asian one that was it Cost Cutter or something like that? The new one.
oh, well, why are we using the supermarkets and da-da-da-da if we're going to boycott all communities? That is not what I'm...
Rasta Priest, what did you ask about the Somali community? Are you Somali? Are you connected to Somalia, or is it just an interest you have?
doing? I'm just boycotting retail shops, right? And I'm redirecting that money back into our community. We live in a...
This is a good concept, trying to circulate the wealth and get money into the black community. And I guess that's what the discussion should be about how best to do that. I guess how branding and you can use, but once again, the fact that she's saying boycott, that's getting the algorithms hot and stuff. So I can't critique it.
A white majority country, and everyone uses supermarkets, no matter what color, creed, or religion you are. Okay, so we can absolutely fall back and use supermarkets. Another thing that I wanted to tackle is black people complaining about the pricing at other black stores. And I just want to tell you that this is not going to be...
Very true. No, I'm not, but some Somalis say they are not black. That's why yeah, so in the UK, Somali ethnic group, as well as mixed black people, they're the highest who probably might say they're not black, or they want to use different terms. In the Americas, it might be, I think the Afro-Dominicans or the Dominicans, some of the Afro-Latins might not say that. That's the thing. Well, the thing with us is, when it comes to actual terms, people don't have to say they're black, but we've got like a 4-pillar where we have all the ethnic groups connected to blackness, and if you're a part of it, you can practice black betterment. Regardless of if you call yourself African, black, or colored, or whatever term people use. Whenever there's confusion, I use the ABC community, which is Afro Black Connected Community. There's some people, but it's all really black or greater black. And once again, we just use black as a branding term. Supermarkets worse. Yeah, that's the thing. So I think with this sister now, I think she's more. Like, don't get me wrong, she's saying boycotts, and that's what she's doing, right? I think that really is the emphasis of her. The emphasis is more boycott the Asians rather than buy from the black community. I could be wrong, and that's why the discussion I have to have now. Look, I can jump on. That's why I call it bandwagon jumping. I can jump on any bandwagon if black people benefit. But at the same token, what we don't want to do is leave breadcrumbs to say that we're actually following an agenda. We don't want to have a hierarchy where we have like black, white, Asian, or whatever. That doesn't make sense. It should be when everyone disrespects, we boycott, but also we promote black and we show black. But once again, we can also have these discussions.
Easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. And if we shopped a lot more often at black stores, then the prices wouldn't be so high. You need to understand the store's profit margin as well as their overheads. I'm going to need you to do some research on that. I don't want to hear any complaining. You pay the price that is at that black store. This is an investment that is going back into your community. That is what you need to think when you are handing over your money. So, to recap the boycott rules, you go and you shop physically in a black-owned store. If you can't find anything in a black-owned store, then your next option is online. If you can't find anything online, your last resort is a supermarket.
That's why a database is, but we'll look at the database before. On her page, there was, and maybe I'll copy that and put it in some kind of design or something. But there was a directory. Some people gave her a directory of business that you could just support.
Black people, I'm going to need you to be extremely conscious about where you are buying your products, your food, your clothes. If you want our community to flourish, if you want our community to win, if you want to see black people build generational wealth and you want more shops from our community open, you need to make this sacrifice. I love us for real, and we can make this happen.
Yeah, I'm going to play the last video here. Remove.
Business, and it has literally over...
Rewind.
Hey, my black peoples.
Let's look at that. Black is going to share that. Black to business. Black to us. And this. Is it .com or .whatever? Yeah, it's .uk. It's probably a good thing to buy, isn't it? Oh, yeah, there we go. Accept the cookies. Just going to copy and paste it in there for you guys. Let's share the video.
So I have found a black directory. It is called Black to Business, and it has literally over 1,000 businesses that are in this black directory that's up and down the country. So whether you're in Hertfordshire, Birmingham, they will have something for you. As you can see here, it has the price, the address, everything you need to know in terms of contacting these businesses. So if you want to spend black, buy black, and support black, this directory needs to be downloaded on your phone. Also, I encourage black businesses to try and apply to get on this directory. I think it would be absolutely amazing if we're all on one accord. So use this directory and support black businesses.
I was checking if it's on Black Toothbrush on Play Store. Let me see. The Black Business Enterprise. I don't. Is that a UK one or is that a worldwide one? This one. Hold on. I don't know. That might be online only. I don't know if it's an app. I'll try to find. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's nice. Sorry, I'm distracted by games. Yeah, I don't know if that's the app, but that's the Black Tube business. Login, about categories. I should remind me to join this. Really cool. Fashion, beauty, food. I'm sorry, I'm not even sure. Cool. All right, excellent, fantastic. Let me remove that. There I go here. So yeah, so what we done today? Today we're talking about. First, we talked about USA and UK races uniting. Just something to be aware of. Which a little ITV, I think, news report or something. And then we'll talk about the boycott bandwagon, Betterment. Talk about there's a current discussion in the grassroots, I guess, of the Black community, and that is of the concept of boycotting the Asian community business. Our thing is, to any excuse to shop black is important, but also helping the community with language and ideas and how to make that make more sense from a branding standpoint and logistics standpoint. But yeah, I think Betterment talks. I've got on the screen now. I'm gonna be obviously doing a couple of talks, whatever, this month, next month, whatever, and it's I think what we should do is let's make having the conversations about betterment. So the black families, black economics, and black health. That should be the three things, right? And obviously the economics, the boycott and shop, that goes on the economics. So I've got a discussion coming in this month, and it's about black men and black women. So that'll be black families, and obviously black health is important as well. Health training, diabetes, blood pressure, black women health in hospitals and stuff. All that's important. So make these the fundamental three. Black business, black economics, and black families. And definitely this boycott concept, or at least shopping in black, is black economics. And let's have a discussion about how do we improve on these three areas and what can we do to improve on these three areas. And that should be a good discussion. Like, I'm not saying I've got the answers, you're not saying you've got the answers, but we can discuss. But we have to have a fundamental. The fundamental is black people and black issues. So, it's self-sustaining black concepts, really. If we can get that, and that way, how do we come together to find solutions? I don't remove this. Remove everything. All right. I'm a bit tired, but is there any questions? We've gone for over an hour, almost 1.5 hours. Let me know. Let me know if you've got any questions. What I did promise I'll play the end of the white supremacy thing, so let me play that for now. But any questions,
the law says in terms of the instigation of acts, and we saw that clarity, that sort
We'll
of.
play the last 7 minutes of this, and then we'll end the show unless anyone jumps in. Two topics is obviously the white supremacy stuff, which is just more just updates, and also the black business, which is quite important. It's a good thing to jump on and try to get there. So if you want to talk about that, let us know. Just something else. Sure, show. We'll play the last of this, and then we'll go. Meanwhile, I'll look to see more about this black to business directory, and maybe see what is the things I've done a few jobs for some of them, but it's so long ago I can't remember. Let's see if it's on the internet or on. It might be just on a Mac or something or iOS. Let me check.
Sense of this kind of air of maybe not respectability but acceptability when we were undercover in one of these two groups, Active Club England, late last year, when at the end of a boxing session, and the person leading the group, as they posed up, said no Romans. This is the term for the right wing salute. I mean, that's not really a direction that people usually in the course of their everyday life need to be given, unless there is an instinct to do that. But the reason they were doing that was because they were posing for a photograph. They don't want them to be seen in public, and that's really clear in some of these groups.
So kind of smarter approach.
Yeah,
You've
absolutely.
Part of your investigation, you heard from a woman called Dr. Heidi Byrick from the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, and this is what she had to say about the scale of the issue right now.
The U.S. is seeing a flourishing of white supremacy, neo-Nazism. There's the group The Blood Tribe, which sometimes works with active clubs, which is a flat-out pro-Hitler. They actually believe Hitler is a god outfit. So it's a very dangerous time. And it didn't help that Donald Trump pardoned many of the people in the January 6th insurrection, because a lot of them came from white supremacist groups like the Proud Boys, militias, and others, which to some extent gave sanction to these organizations. And they're much more open with their activities every single day.
And you already said, Rohit, that they operate more openly, these groups, in the United States, for various reasons, I guess, which are to do with free speech, free assembly, and the Constitution.
Exactly that.
What are the UK guys getting from them?
Firstly, I think what they went over for was sympathy, in part. You know, the what we know is that they gave talks to some of these American groups and these leaders about the situation in the UK. Now, we assume that to mean sort of almost certainly a kind of false analysis about threats to the majority white population. But, you know, it's clear that wherever you look in the world, these are the leading figures, right? You know, these people are very experienced, and at the very least, these British leaders were going over there to see what they could learn directly.
Well, you confronted one of these people, a neo-Nazi called Matthew Gravel, who's previously worked in Buckingham Palace as a guide, I think. We'll put a link in the show notes to your full report on him and the moment that you confronted him where he lives. But tell me, what does his role tell us about the kind of global development of these groups?
Yeah.
And I frankly speaking, Rohit, how worried should we be as a result of these deepening connections and ties?
Yeah, well, I mean, in a way, they're the same. And in a way, the border doesn't matter because so much of this is happening online that it actually crosses borders. And so much of this is fueled by the sort of algorithms, particularly on platforms like X, you know, which encourage this sort of divisive commentary. And how concerned should we be? Well, I mean, like, it's hard to say with clarity and with honesty at this moment. You know, but we know we can see the US, we can see the example there. Like, I guess where the two sections of the Americans and the British delegates, as they describe themselves, differ is their willingness to be open.
Right.
So they posted a picture, a group of the people meeting, around a dozen of them, and the British visitors actually blurred their faces out, including Matthew Gravel.
Right. And just tell us more, Ro, about what Matthew Gravel was doing exactly, because his role speaks to a more organised approach, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, he wasn't doing the boxing and the pull-ups and the press-ups like everyone else. He was in the background, standing behind the camera, taking pictures, taking videos, you know, giving kind of reassurance about personal safety and about the fact that he would blur everyone's face on the imagery. So he was a propagandist. He was the messenger. And, you know, he was this man who had been spreading these messages even while he was working inside Buckingham Palace. And by the way, Buckingham Palace, we spoke to them about this. They thanked us for our approach, and they said, look, we can't comment on individual cases and security matters. They told us to get in touch with the Royal Collection Trust, which is a charity that works within the palace, physically within the palace, that directly employed Gravel and many of the other wardens. And they said much the same thing. So this was a guy who was a kind of royal historian, in a sense, turned propagandist. And, you know, he wouldn't call himself a neo-Nazi. I asked him this directly. He termed himself an ethnocentrist. But what we've uncovered is that he was a member of two groups, of Active Club England, although he denies that. He says, when I confronted him, that he was never a member. He just took the photos. Actually, what our recordings show is that he was doing that in a very organized way, and that he was essentially their propagandist. He's also subsequently became a member of a group called Vanguard Britannica. He organized weekend retreats, and he was promoting some of their work even while working inside Buckingham Palace.
And the other thing I picked up from your coverage, Rohit, was that the other thing they have in common is that there's some kind of moment coming in the future, some kind of judgment day.
Yeah.
Where they've got to be ready to step up.
I'm
quoting one of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess they're looking at, you know, the public order situations we've seen I don't know this. I'm speculating here, but they're looking at situations, the public order situations we've seen develop around the immigration issue, around asylum hotels, and
Found some. We're doing two things. We're looking at the white supremacy unity news report. We're also looking for black business links and stuff. I've just done a Google search random. There was 4 that came up. I've done a history of them. I might post those just for you to look in once this video goes live, as in not live, but gets uploaded to YouTube, and you can make comments. I'll post it in the comment section.
thinking, well, this is an environment, this is an atmosphere that we can capitalize on.
And here's the double speak, right? Because, you know, in public they're simply responding to legitimate concerns about migration.
Right.
But what we're seeing in parallel online is their attempts to actually fuel the narrative during that unrest. And we saw that during the summer after the Southport killings last year, that they're sort of speaking with two mouths. You know, the kind of innocent response to concerns that are out there and the need to prepare ourselves for this inevitable moment. But also online, we're seeing a very clear attempt to actually try and generate that moment. And for, you know, people in law enforcement, that's the kind of grey area.
Right.
You know, are people responding? Are they just innocently preparing themselves? Are they just using their free speech? You know, they might have views that people object to, but are they acting within the law, or is there activity beyond the law? And it's worth mentioning at this point as well that both of these groups that we've been focusing on, Vanguard and Active Club England, are not prescribed. They're not outlawed as terrorist organisations,
right?
And that's what they would really fear.
And so, have you got a sense of how seriously the UK authorities are taking these?
What they're saying there as well is they're very careful for language, trying to be now, and that's something that yours. Every time you want to start something that's whatever, right? You want to make sure that when you join it, your language doesn't undermine the organization. That's what they're trying to do. We come from a different standpoint where, you know, black people tend to not be very vulgar in our tongue when it comes to other groups and spit hate. But we should have to remind you, but just like the Asian community, when the system was boycotting, sanctions was boycotting, and there was a whole lot of prejudice, discrimination terms, we have to make sure that there should be no situation where we do that, because anything will and can be used against you, so just don't do that. It's not nice.
These people?
Yeah, well, I mean, we heard earlier this week from various government figures, the security minister, you know, the health secretary. Wes Streeting was out yesterday saying, you know, that people like this shouldn't be anywhere near the royal family. I mean, of course, the broader point, which was raised by the security minister, is that the royal family aren't the main targets.
Thank you, Robert. We're going to end it there. So, family, I've posted directories in the. But what I'll do is I'll post them after I publish this video. Don't forget, for those who help black people and practice black betterment, know that you're important. And for those who don't, know that you're loved. I'll keep you updated if the show is going to jump on. But don't forget that this discussion is quite key about economics. So keep it going on your forums and try to join in. But finding ways that black people can support each other is important, especially economically. So black betterment to all, we're going to end it there unless anyone wants to jump in, but probably not. So because of that, we're going to go. I'm feeling a bit tired to be the show. So hope you have a good weekend and hope you keep practicing black betterment. Yeah, all right. Goodbye. Dun, 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 dun. End the show.